Let me start with something personal. You know that feeling when you invite someone over and quietly hope your system doesn't embarrass you? The first week with the R500, that thought disappears completely. This is for the kind of person who takes pride in their space. You care about how things feel when people walk in. You want sound that feels confident and natural, not something that screams for attention. You've reached the point where obvious, overtuned audio feels immature, and subtlety feels like power. Before you get pulled in, take a second to check the current price and availability. Speakers like this don't sit around forever, and missing the right moment always feels avoidable in hindsight. You probably remember when your old setup stopped feeling right. Maybe it sounded impressive at first, but over time it felt constrained. Guests complimented the volume, but you noticed the lack of depth. Music felt energetic, but the room never truly filled. You adjusted placement, tweaked settings, lived with it, but you knew it wasn't the final version. Once these are in your room, something changes instantly. The sound doesn't perform anymore, it settles. There's a calm authority to it. You don't worry about where people sit. You don't worry about pushing volume. The room just sounds right, everywhere. In real life, the difference shows up fast. Music during conversations feels present without dominating the room. Movie nights feel cinematic without being overwhelming. Gaming feels immersive because direction and distance feel believable. Even quiet background listening during the day feels richer, like the room itself has more dimension. What really hits you is how effortless it all feels. Bass doesn't call attention to itself, it supports everything. Highs stay clear without edge. Nothing feels hyped, and that restraint is what makes long listening sessions feel so comfortable. Quick reminder, don't assume stock or pricing will stay stable. Well-designed towers like this tend to move quietly once people hear them in person. If you're wondering whether floor standers actually elevate a space, here's the surprise benefit: they change how people behave in the room. Conversations slow down. Listening becomes intentional. You stop skipping tracks and start letting things play. There's a deep sense of ownership pride here. The design feels timeless. The sound feels grown. You don't explain your speakers, you notice how often people ask what you're using. Music feels full without force. The room feels open and alive. Details come through naturally. Listening feels relaxed and confident. Your setup finally feels complete. They're not subtle in size, and they're not meant for casual background noise only. These are for people who care about atmosphere. Eventually, the comparison game loses its grip. You realize you're not choosing between brands anymore, you're choosing how you want your home to feel every single day. Don't let this be one of those upgrades you delay, then regret every time your space feels a little smaller than it should. If you're ready for speakers that elevate your room, your listening, and your confidence all at once, trust that instinct. Check the current price, see what's available, and choose the setup that finally feels like yours.